So this video is about the moral of life. Ever heard the saying, your life story, and stories have a moral? The moral is to live a moral life and to put God first, the source of morality, the potent source, the core, the center. Okay, and this has everything to do with the king, not King Philip, not the princes, or Prince Philip, not the princes of Wales or England or whatever, but to try to find the true king in life. Who's going to give you direction? You must ask yourself, who am I? I've gone over it many times. God revealed himself to Moses saying, I am who I am. Let's also look in terms of mental health and how they try to play people like me out. They have a long history of non-consensual experimentation and purposely misdiagnosing black people and working with the COINTELPRO network to prevent the rise of a black messiah. So we must look at this thing in terms of reproduction. We must look at these things in terms of moral clarity, is mental clarity, and it is romantic clarity. If you're looking at a story and you don't really understand the moral, do you really understand the story? When you look at your life story and what life is telling you, do you really understand who you love if you don't understand morals and don't prioritize it? Moral clarity is mental clarity. It is romantic clarity. And we have to look at every culture of this world is unworthy. God is love. He's righteousness. The two go hand in hand. Therefore, righteousness is love, and love is righteousness. Now this gets a little bit tricky. Why is that? Because if you're righteous, by default, you have love in your heart. It automatically comes. If you have love in your heart, automatically you're righteous. There's no way around this. The Harley Quinn type of people, they're looking at a point of reference that doesn't have love. All the cultures in the world are looking at points of references that don't have love. When you conform to a nation of this world, the nations, just like they plotted against King David, plot against morality and the moral man. Every culture that is allowed is plotting against the moral man. They are arguing that their culture is superior, or else they would be part of another culture. They are a living advertisement for their culture. They're testifying that their culture is superior, or that it is the best choice for them that is available. And when we look at the greater kind of structure of the system and the cultures that are allowed, American values, cultural values, shared cultural values, we're forced to see that some people, for example, a white person in a trailer home, they would gladly accept a rich white mansion and the accompanying yuppie culture. Okay? They're testifying that they want to be rich, they want to have nice things, but what is available to them, they default with that. And all of this has to do with status symbols, hidden in plain view. Social status, symbolism. Status, what is your status? When you see me carrying this spear, this replica spear, my argument is simple. That the warrior status is more important than any social status and has to do with being a transcendent hero. The spirit and the spear, right? To spirit. Spirit and spirit are connected. It doesn't take a genius to see that Africans are the most stigmatized people, because when it comes time to spirit, there's a group of Africans that's the bell that rings the loudest of any group on the planet. This is the martial art order. When it comes to sparring, tatib, to get to the bottom of things through the use of a stick. A spear is a stick with a spearhead on top of it, attached to it. Okay, that's what a spear is. Okay, it can be used in various ways to block, to parry, etc. One can dodge, skywalk, outmaneuver, and stab. Okay, I can throw the spear at somebody. I can throw it and then I can pull out a knife, which is basically like a spearhead without the shaft. Okay, it's also a phallic symbol. The spirit, you can be seen as the semen coming out of the penis. Okay, it is a phallic symbol. When used correctly, it is God striking down the enemy. When someone is not in the spirit of God, by default, it is a gay symbol. Once I'm gone, all weapons become gay symbols. Guns, knives, all penetrating weapons are gay symbols. Really all weapons. Because they're not in the spirit of God and they're stabbing them. They may as well be in the spirit of lust. And that's really what they are. So they're in the energy of lust. They're plugging each other in the butt. Okay. So when they penetrate this person in a profane manner, it is a flesh penetration. It may as well be their hands or their penis penetrating the person's anus. Now, I hate to speak this way, but it has to be said. Okay? What they're doing is gay. Okay? They're accepting a gay world order. And as a result, people will be punished for, as time goes on, for not acting gay enough. It might not be obvious, but when we look at the nerd, he's a variation of the gay beta. Okay? All gay guys are betas because they haven't morally developed to accept the role of the masculine hero. Do you see gay guys giving me my rightful place and going out of their way to secure me a suitable helper, as I've been complaining about it for years? In Genesis, it says it's not good for him to be alone. A man that God has forged, I was forged by the Spirit of God, not the manifest destiny lie. Moral development is the bare minimum for being a man, which is not to be confused with an adult male. An adult male is anybody over the age of 18 or what, technically in America, for example. Okay? But to be a man, someone can be a man at 16. They can be a man at 14 if they morally develop and mature and express true masculinity. There's many people who are 90 years old that are adult males and not men. Nobody outside of the divine order is truly a man. They aren't morally developed. The guy who does quote-unquote toxic masculinity, which is really toxic mask, right? He put the mask, he's faking, right? Their own language testifies that I'm right, okay? He's like, oh, he's calling a chick, hey, you're not man enough for you. He's drunk and he's a slob, okay? That's being an adult male in a toxic manner. True manhood, truly being a man, right? Not the manhood in terms of covering it up that you're not a man, but truly being a man is a result of moral development. And one must understand the moral of life, which is the divine order. It's a martial art order. You don't pretend that you're more important than the top martial artist. You fail already, he's gone. When there's a war, if the top martial artist doesn't have his rightful place, you stop everything and secure his rightful place, or you're not a man. Boom. You need to grow up. And it goes back to cultivation. The idea of the world followers is they're growing down. When they do this little sign right here, it's actually an arrow pointing down. The V is an arrow pointing down, like Viking. It's an arrow pointing down, the I, for your perspective, king. And they have a dragon mast. We can go on and on about why that is Indo-Europeans, Indonesia, where the Komodo dragon is found. We can go on and on about why that is. Okay, to make a long story short, Africans migrated into Babylon. Some of them betrayed the divine order. They started coming up with chariots and stuff with the Afro-Asiatic people, and they migrated through Europe, and they started doing cultivation there with the European people, and they started to defy the African order. We're all Africans. Where you went is very telling. The guys who defied the African martial art orders the most happened to be the ones who moved through Crete and into Europe. There was Cretan pederasty, and Athens, probably the most effective place of Greece, had Athenian pederasty, pedophiles. Okay. Pedophiles can provide tons of money. They haven't grown up. So now that we've overkilled this idea that nobody is really a man but me, and it's not there to belittle them, but to rather prove my point. Let's cover two more things. Let's wrap this up. Okay, first of all, why am I right? Biblically, Exodus 15:3, the Lord thy God is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Jeremiah 24, the Lord is with me like a mighty warrior, something to this effect. Open and shut. Psalms goes on and on about it. Jesus came to bring a sword. There's tons of evidence. Moses, there's evidence in Exodus, around Exodus 34, to this effect. Okay, God is a warrior. Moses has a radiant face. God told Moses to write Exodus. Okay, as the story goes, Moses wrote Exodus, and Moses said, the Lord thy God is a warrior. David faced Goliath in single combat. Okay, the city of David, which is Zion, was taken through combat. Okay, he called his opposition lame and blind. The way they see things didn't allow them to take on this guy in single combat. Therefore, my martial art challenge, which at one point was $100,000, I offered $50 just to show up, okay, was symbolic of all these non-transcendent systems betraying the last transcendent martial arts because nobody obeyed me. Obi, Abba, meaning father, Ebo, and obey are connected. Vowel, interchangeable vowels. Their own system acknowledges this. So we have the martial art kind of competition in Africa, acknowledges this. The Biafran War, what war was about morality more than the Biafran War in any history? You'll be hard-pressed to find a single war that even comes close to the moral kind of prerogative of the Igbo and Biafran people during the Biafran War. You know them by their works. Who made their war about morals and who made their war about politics? Or in Germany, racial supremacy and taking over the world. Okay? It doesn't take a genius to see that I'm right. It doesn't take a genius that through works that I'm right. It doesn't take a genius to see, to see this. It doesn't take a genius to see that democratizing my powers when I don't approve is evil. That's like I marry the most virtuous woman on the planet and they insist, they took a vote and that they all should be able to take turns running a train on her. Okay? And this is more repugnant than this when you think it through. Okay? They think they should be able to have free love and run a train on her instead of me and her have a profound romantic connection. They drug her, they coerce her, they pressure her, and then she goes along with it. That doesn't change the fact that they're wrong and she's meant to be my queen. That's why repent is a play on words for rape on. On is Heliopolis, Ra is called center. They look at the circle in the occult as a reproductive cycle as the woman's vagina. I look at it as the sun. They superimpose, like the Mesopotamian people, the woman on the idea of the sun. They have sun goddesses because they want it to be about a woman so they can switch the patriarchal line, which is the spear, which comes down from God. The spirit of God, the spear, the phallic symbol. Okay, the obelisk, O-B, all ask. O-B-L, ask. They're supposed to ask the true Igbo king and not their wordplay bitch where they say, O-B, I'm going to be that, like a Greco-Roman tragedy actor. It doesn't take a genius to see what they're doing is pure evil. It isn't just, well, it's understandable. We don't want to bow down to him. He's a different race than us. I'm mixed. There's people who have Asiatic genes in my bloodline. There's people with Semitic genes in my bloodline. There's people with white genes in my bloodline. There's people with black genes in my bloodline. That's like the foundation of every race in the world, including the Native Americans. They're kind of related to the Eurasians, and they went across over there on the ice bridge and the island hopping. You can do the math. You can look at the Aborigine people. You can look at these different dark-skinned people, the Samoan people, and start to piece together who's who, okay? I'm pretty much related to everyone in the world, almost more than anyone else. So this kind of, this argument that, he's a different race is stupid. I'm basically their races, and I'm the most righteous person of their races, okay? No matter how you slice it. And there's no excuse for them choosing bitch. And then they have this despicable arguments. Well, I'm a white conservative. Stupid. Well, I'm a communist. Stupid. You're a train-running pirate. Fuck you talking about? Your argument is weak. They wouldn't challenge me to a public debate, and if they did, you better believe they would drug the shit out of me and say, he's crazy talking gibberish, because they're that kind of bitches. And when you look at what they're doing compared to what I'm doing, who the fuck do you think gets the benefit of the doubt? Who the fuck do you think deserves it? Like, I have to even explain that. That's like the devil is standing next to Jesus Christ, and you're a Christian, and you give the devil the benefit of the doubt. It's shut the fuck up. You're a coward if that's what you do, and you're of the devil. The person you give the benefit of the doubt to is the person you're more like. It's another way to look at it. You are of the devil. What do you think? Following these cowards. You give yourself the benefit of the doubt and you're not rising uncontrolled like the sun. You're not even doing that. You're giving a beta the benefit. You're more like a beta than the alpha. You're more like a beta, hugging a tree or humping the dirt instead of reaching out to God as an alpha. It's that simple. So we got to look at the generational breeding, right? Bred, be read. Reproduction, raw prediction. Love struck. I've gone over all this stuff time and time again. Wedding ring, the ring of the martial arts. We go on and on and on. Okay. I'm not satisfied with this video, unfortunately. I'm going to have to release the videos where I'm more harsh because the message is more clear. And this should help you understand why I do these things. Okay? Because they have to be told to grow up. You have to yell at these people. When somebody's about to drive off a cliff, you don't go, hey man, come on, you're driving off a cliff. You say, stop. And so it is with grow up and stop abusing the world and stop abusing each other. Stop going straight to hell. One must yell at them and say, stop being a beta coward that's going to die a dishonorable death. Grow up. So that's where I start yelling at them, grow up. Okay, and I'll have to release those videos. I'm even release something in the beginning to kind of help you realize, that the video is actually okay. Well, we'll get to that later.